you give me joy, good love, good times, such happiness. Oh yeah, and every day I thank the Lord for you. I feel so glad. I need for you to love me, hold me, touch me, down deep in my soul. Never let it go. No love to share, no one compares to you. I'll never let you go. 'Cause I really love you so. I'll never let you go. Oh, no. If you only knew what you're really doing, never had no one that does it quite like you do. You wasted half a lifetime trying to find one like you. That's why I'm so glad I found you. I wish upon a star and it came true. Darling, I need for you to hold me, touch me, deep in my soul. Never let it go. Love to share. No, it's you. What's up, everybody? Peace, 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 people. This is For Black Righteous Folks Home, or you can call me For Black for short. Please support by hitting the like button. 3 buttons at the top right-hand corner you can hit, and then hit the like button. We're going to get into what is going on in Chicago. There seems to be a tug of war happening right before our eyes pertaining to Chicagoans that do not want to support illegal immigration because it is siphoning monies from the residents, from the citizens of America. And the mayor, who's Democratic, seems to not give a damn about that. He is even going so far to say that he is going to fight tooth and nail against Trump, who he knows has a mandate to do mass deportation of these illegal aliens that have come to America. And he is saying, oh no, we're going to support the illegals over the residents. I'm going to also use the plight and fight of Black Americans and try to make it seem like it's both the same, which is very disrespectful. When you really think about that, how are you going to use Black American plights for illegals' plight? They're not the same. The illegals have broken the law. They are disrespecting our laws. They're bogarting, and they're having this entitlement that they feel entitled to get things for free when they have not deserved anything. They're not deserving of anything. And Trump is making it fairly clear. Let's listen to Trump first. All videos that I show is under the 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 for education, observation, research, commentary, entertainment, all the above, not meant to impose, but to inform. Let's get to the first video. And if you would, please hit the like. I know that I have a lot of looky-loos, but just support. If you're already here, you might as well enjoy the show.
Our country is being poisoned from within by the drugs and by all of the other crime that's taking place. The drug cartels are waging war in America, and it's now time for America to wage war on the cartels. In this war, Joe Biden has sided against the United States and with the cartels. They are making more money than they've ever made before, times 10. There's never been anything like it. They're major companies. They're bigger than even some of our biggest companies. Biden's open border policies are a deadly betrayal of our nation. When I am president, it will be the policy of the United States to take down the cartels, just as we took down ISIS and the ISIS caliphate, and just as, unlike the situation we're in today, we had a very strong border, the strongest border, in fact, in the history of our country. And drugs were at a low of 45 years. There's been nothing like what we did just 2 years ago. We will show no mercy on the cartels. Every day, drug traffickers are using the waters of our region to ship their lethal poisons to America, killing so many of our people and ruining families. In addition to restoring strong border security, I will deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, to impose the full naval embargo on the cartels. I did that before and it worked. What we did was incredible. We will guarantee that the waters of the Western Hemisphere are not used to traffic illicit drugs to our country. Furthermore, I will order the Department of Defense to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations. I will designate the major cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. We will sever their access to global financial systems. I will also work to forge an unprecedented partnership with neighboring governments in our region, just like I did in Mexico. And remember, in Mexico alone, an estimated 100,000 civilians have been tragically murdered or gone missing at the hands of these cartels. The Mexican government, run by a very fine man, the president, is really working hard, but it's not working out. These cartels are vicious and they're violent, and they have Mexico for now stymied. But we have to help Mexico, and we have to stymie the cartels. Either we will get the full cooperation of other governments to stop this menace, or we will expose every bribe, every kickback, every payoff, and every bit of corruption that is allowing the cartels to preserve their brutal reign, and it is indeed brutal. Finally, as I have said before, I will ask Congress to pass legislation ensuring that drug smugglers and human traffickers receive the death penalty. The drug cartels and their allies in the Biden administration have the blood of countless millions on their hands. Millions and millions of families and people are being destroyed. When I'm back in the White House, the drug kingpins and vicious traffickers will never sleep soundly again. We did it once, and we did it better than anybody else. There's never been a better border than we had just 2 years ago. It was strong, it was powerful, and it was respected all over the world. And now we're laughed at all over the world. And we're not going to let that happen much longer. We have to take over, we have to be tough, we have to be smart, we have to be fair. But if we don't do something immediately, our country is gone.
I don't want to live 9 to 5.
And that is what Trump, the elect, the former president, the soon-to-be 47th president, has said he's going to do in relation to the cartels, in relation to all the illegals that have poured into the country unvetted, and that there are unsavory people that have come over here that he has to now pluck out of the American soil and have them return from which they have come from. And this is the right approach to get rid of these types of people. Why on earth would a Democratic mayor want to stand in the way of that? But that is what Mayor Brandon has said he's going to do in Chicago. He's going to be on the side of illegals, whether or not they're causing cost to the residents of Chicago, whether or not they're causing crimes to come to Chicago. He wants to support and shield them versus help support Trump. Why is that? Why would a Democratic mayor declare war on Trump? And he's calling on saying that it is a threat to the Black families, using Black Americans, of course, for his platform, which the Black residents of America have said, don't use us. Don't use us as your talking point because you're not listening to us. We're telling you we do not want the illegals here because they're costing us an arm and a leg. We do not want them here. Send them back. But yet Brandon, the mayor of Chicago, is using them as a, what do you call it, a token of talking points, to include them in his talking points to say, hey, we need illegals over here. They're just innocent people. We need to talk about humanity and all this other type of talk. What's up, Of the Land? How are you doing? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. First, we're going to get to the first clip. This is Zoe Lay. I think her last name is pronounced. And she is really on fire with Brandon Johnson about what he's been up to. Let's listen to what she has to say and how he is using Black people to support illegals, and they don't want to be used in such a way. Fair use.
We'll start with what you said, what, Tuesday?
Going to defend the people of this city. Because look, his attack, let's be very clear, the president-elect, former President Trump, his threat is not just towards new arrivals and undocumented families. His threats are also against Black families. He has a vision to destroy public education. So when he talks about Project 2025 and dismantling public education, we're talking about a system that has been designed to create leveling opportunities for families who are descendants of slaves. Truly,
You always want to use Black people in your press conferences, but don't do nothing for Black people in Chicago. You already know why I'm here, and I've been coming here for a year. Before I even knew who you was as a mayor, you was dipping off, going to sides when I was out there protesting. You have corporate counsel right next to you, Mary Richardson Lowry, who has no idea what she's doing, because if she would have told you to settle my case. Okay? So yeah, you can look the other way and roll your eyes and do all that stuff, but you do not care about the Black Chicago citizens. Okay, you're trying to push this socialist agenda in this capitalist society. In 2019, when you was head leadership with CTU, y'all did a little GoFundMe and went over to Venezuela because y'all already knew what y'all were going to do with bringing them all over here, right? So you're pushing this agenda with the illegal immigrants because y'all done stole all their money because you thought that after that $51 million that the feds gave you back then, that Biden was going to keep sending y'all money. But as you know, Biden is the real racist. The one that y'all say Trump is, Biden been racist. Biden been racist for a long time. He just popped up with Obama as the vice president and everybody just forgot. Okay? You have no idea how to govern. 2026, 2027, we're going to get you out, Tony Preckwinkle out, J.B. Pritzker out, Kwame Raoul out, and probably half of the Disgrace 50 out too. And the Disgrace 50 is the alderman. Okay? My case should have been settled. They're stealing Black people's property and land in the city of Chicago, and they've been doing it for a very long time. Okay? Majority of the people that work for the city of Chicago and Cook County are realtors or part of real estate agents. They
That is a conflict of interest. So that's why y'all keep stealing our property and our land. And y'all think that it's going to be okay and it's going to keep happening. It's not going to happen. It's not going to keep happening. We have a new Department of Justice, and at the end of the day, we have people that are running. Paul.
Thank you very much for your comments.
So you can tell that she is very upset with Mayor Brandon Johnson about how he's been maneuvering, using blackness towards these illegals and their pursuit and their agenda, this Democratic agenda to flood America with these illegals, to try to siphon all the monies from all the different states that they're in. We got the mayor of LA, I forgot her name, who is also talking about fighting against Trump for sanctuary city and whatnot. And they're all Democrats. They all are Democrats. They all are still on this agenda, even though they lost the election. And they're going to go against Trump and what he's trying to do, which is the right thing, and trying to minimize these illegals over here because they're not bringing any benefit to us. They're overloading the system. They're causing a lot of crime and cost to many different states that we cannot sustain taking care of them. But the Democrats are so adamant about keeping the illegals because they're hopeful to have their numbers for votes so that they can stay in power, even though they lost. So instead of just letting it go, letting their agenda go, letting Trump do the right thing, no, they want to go up against him. Now I want to start with this video, which comes from News Nation, talking about this Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson, who is going to so-called push back against Trump administration on the migrant policies. Again, he has an agenda. Zoe explained a little bit about that agenda, in her mind, what she sees, what he's doing. Let's hear what this news clip has to say. Go ahead and hit the like button. There's so many people here listening. I only got 5 likes and 180 people listening. Come on, y'all. Do better. Hit the like.
Well, a standoff between so-called sanctuary cities and the incoming Trump administration heating up right here in Chicago. Now, on the campaign trail, Donald Trump promised mass deportations of millions of undocumented migrants. He promised to close the southern border with Mexico and to end birthright citizenship. He's also threatened to withhold funding from sanctuary states. Now, Chicago's mayor vows the city will continue to shield all migrants in spite of Trump's threats.
The incoming administration is not just a threat to Chicago, but a threat to what is sensible about this country. And as mayor of the city of Chicago, we're not going to bend or break or cower to someone's threat. We're going to stand up and unite around our shared values, and they have my assurance that I'm going to protect the families of this city.
All right, so since late 2022, more than 51 million migrants have come into Chicago, and the city has spent more than $574 million to house, feed, and care for them. So joining me now is Chicago journalist and host of the Chicago Files, William J. Kelly. William, thank you so much for your time on this. So we heard from Mayor Brandon Johnson there. How much power does Chicago's mayor really have if it does come down to a local versus federal standoff?
Chicago's a sanctuary city, but that doesn't mean that the federal government cannot send in ICE agents to remove illegal aliens, especially if they've committed crimes. They just won't have the assistance of Chicago police officers. The people of Chicago that I'm talking to, including black and brown people, communities, say that they feel that we've been generous enough with illegal aliens, that they feel that they...
Until I see some more likes, I'm not going to continue. This is ridiculous. You guys are really showing me how disrespectful y'all are. It is a simple like. There's 336 people in here. I'm not going to continue this. You guys can go somewhere else and get the news. Beat it. I don't care. Go. Bye. Y'all don't want to support? Get gone. Let me play some music instead. Of the Land, what do you want to listen to? Because they're not in support. I don't know why they keep coming. I don't need all you guys here, really. I only want the ones that want to support and listen to good information about what I'm showing. This is serious matter that I have got going talking about. It is very frustrating to see how disrespectful people are to just listen in and won't even hit the like. For what reason? I don't get it. Okay, I'll play that because this is ridiculous, man. I'd rather have 1,000 people listening to me and support me versus thousands upon thousands of people disrespecting me like this. So we're gonna stop and do something different. We're in this love together. We're in this love together. Okay. Like first thing in the morning, I gotta like see how disrespectful people can be. You guys want the information, you guys like the programming, and you refuse to hit the like. So I ain't never did nothing to none of y'all. I don't know why all this hate, but you come and listen to me for what?
Something that you love to see. Every time we hear the music, we're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together. Like berries on the vine. It gets sweeter all the time. It's like a rainy night in candlelight. And ooh, it's so romantic. We got the whole thing working out so right. And it's just the way we planned it. We're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together. And like berries on the vine, it's sweeter all the time. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together. We got a kind that will last forever. We're in this love together. We got the kind that will last forever. Look at that. We're in this love together. We're gonna find that love that's opening up the door. Hey, hey, hey. Don't you know
all races. I got love for all religions. Got love for so many places. No love for a politician, a congressman, or a senator. If the country that they put in first ain't the United States of America. No love for these politicians with corporate interests in other countries. Only one that I serve is God. I don't serve man, I don't serve money. No love for the people living in the USA, but always hating it. Got a lot I probably shouldn't say to y'all. Matter of fact, I'll just pray on it. I'm pro-life, pro-God, pro-gun. Yo, worshiping bullets, yo, killing babies, mutilated children, yell and saying this. Supporting the troops in their tour doesn't mean that you're supporting the war. Supporting the freedoms that they fighting for doesn't mean that you're supporting the poor. Supporting the country I live in and of it doesn't mean blindly supporting the government. The world that we live in is trouble. The turn of the media, we should defund it. Supporting America for other nations does not make me a racist. If you like communism so much, I'll pay for your vacation. America first, the people are hurt. Got vets in the street with nothing to eat and nowhere to work. Sending our dollars overseas in front of these wars. No love for these politicians if they're not America first. America first, this country's protect their borders. It's not a controversial subject. I say close the southern border. It seems to get people upset. I don't care what names you call me. We have $40 trillion of debt. Uncle Sam takes half your money, then you get a low refund check. I am America first. Kamala cares about a purse. I never sell out the people to raise my net worth. The Second Amendment is there to always protect my first. I'm a better rapper than Meg Thee Stallion, and I don't even have to curse. Let's keep the American dream alive and put an end to all the lies. BLM raised billions, and what did they do for black lives? Politicians promise you the whole world, then they backslide. What happened to Hunter's laptop? You know I'm most strapped up. Gun rights are human rights. Feminists been sold a lie. You can mess around and find out. Play stupid games with a stupid prize. God bless the whole USA, even the ones you hate me. Still fighting for you today, and no globalist paid me. America first, the people are hurt. Got vets in the street with nothing to eat and nowhere to work. Sending our dollars overseas in front of these wars. No love for these politicians if they're not America first.
I thought I'd take that break. Shout out to the person that produced that rap song, High Riz TV. High Riz TV, called American First. American First. And that is what I'm on. American First. That's what Trump's on. That's what this channel is on. American First. I hope that we would get support from people that are listening, especially if you are American First. Trump, again, before he even gets a chance to touch and see the Oval Office as the president-elect or the president of the United States 47, he is going to be having a battle with the Democrats. The Democrats, the demonic Democrats who are pro-illegals, who do not care about Americans, don't care about how much it costs, don't care about the destruction of the communities that we have at large. It's very frustrating to see what is happening in Chicago and New York. But I wanted to talk about Chicago today because a lot of people are speaking out against this mayor, Brandon Johnson, who definitely is trying to be defiant against Trump already. Let's get back to that video I was showcasing before. Hopefully you guys would support by hitting that like button. It's not too difficult. Please support.
Well, a standoff between so-called sanctuary cities and the incoming Trump administration heating up right here in Chicago. Now, on the campaign trail, Donald Trump promised mass deportations of millions of undocumented migrants. He promised to close the southern border with Mexico and to end birthright citizenship. He's also threatened to withhold funding from sanctuary states. Now, Chicago's mayor vows the city will continue to shield all migrants in spite of Trump's threats.
The incoming administration is not just a threat to Chicago, but a threat to what is sensible about this country. And as mayor of the city of Chicago, we're not going to bend or break or cower to someone's threat. We're going to stand up and unite around our shared values, and they have my assurance that I'm going to protect the families of this city.
All right, so since late 2022, more than 51 million migrants have come into Chicago, and the city has spent more than $574 million to house.
$574 million to house, food, and care for these illegals. 51,065 migrants have utilized that much money in Chicago alone. And the residents are starting to feel the weight of all that money being siphoned from the resources that should go to the residents of America, have been bypassed in their supporting of these illegal migrants. And the residents are very, very upset about that, which I would be if I was them too. Let's listen some more.
And care for them. So joining me now is Chicago journalist and host of the Chicago Files, William J. Kelly. William, thank you so much for your time on this. So we heard from Mayor Brandon Johnson there. How much power does Chicago's mayor really have if it does come down to a local versus federal standoff?
Chicago's a sanctuary city, but that doesn't mean that the federal government cannot send in ICE agents to remove illegal aliens, especially if they've committed crimes. They just won't have the assistance of Chicago police officers. The people of Chicago that I'm talking to, including Black and Brown people, communities, say that they feel that we've been generous enough with illegal aliens, that they feel that they...
Exactly. More than generous enough. 574 million? How many homeless people are out there that are Americans and vets and whatnot that have not been helped by all that money? Just imagine if 574 million was used on the residents in America overall. We keep having monies be spent on people that's not deserving of the money, and people are getting upset about it, and they have the right to be upset about this. It's ridiculous.
Suffered as a result, and they're hoping that Donald Trump will in fact reverse Chicago's sanctuary city status, and that Chicago's days as a sanctuary city are coming to an end.
Yeah, and William, as you pointed out there, I mean, being here in the city, there really are so many opinions on this topic. Now, we know that Trump's pick for border czar, Tom Homan, has said that he would recommend that federal funds be stripped from cities that don't assist with those federal immigration agents. If that happens, William, what could it mean for a sanctuary city like Chicago?
Well, as you probably know, Chicago's already a billion or more in debt. Mayor Johnson is getting pushed back at a special city council meeting today on his proposed $300 million property tax increase, which is, I called it out essentially as a migrant tax, because that's about the exact number to the penny that he's paid out to just one of the migrant vendors at the inner Chicago, and some of the other, not to mention all the other migrant vendors. So this is, if Mayor Johnson thinks that he's going to push back on Donald Trump's historic mandate to close the border and secure cities like Chicago, I think he's going to find out that that's not going to work out and very well for him.
And William, there's still so many questions over, how this mass deportation would work, what it would cost. But even if Donald Trump does fail to fully enforce some of his campaign promises, what could the threat of it happening mean for the immigrant population, both legal and illegal?
Well, I think that we are living in some kind of an historic time. If you study history, you will see that there have been mass deportations at other times in history, including the United States history. Eisenhower had, I think, the most, at least up until now, the greatest mass deportation in American history. So, this is definitely something that's doable if you have a federal government, a president, and the ICE agents that are eager and willing to do it, which it appears as though that is exactly what we have in Washington now.
Thanks for watching. Go to join
So again, there's a tug of war going on, primarily with the Democratic mayors who are allegiant or claiming that they're going to stand up against Trump before he even gets to office. But let me show you what the residents had to say of Chicago, calling out this mayor who definitely is not looking out for the residents of Chicago. They're looking out for everybody else, but that's what the Democrats were going to do anyways. This is why I did not want Harris to get in office, because she would have totally turned her back on Americans and would have been about putting the illegals over the Americans. That's what she had in mind to do. And that's what the Democrats still are vowing to do, despite losing this election. Let's listen to some Chicago residents tear into Brandon about what they think about him and how he has failed the residents of Chicago.
Good evening, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I want to know, how does it feel that Trump is in office right now? You see the Mayor Brandon Johnson, you underestimate us. You underestimate the black people, and you underestimate Chicago Red. We're the thorn in your side, and we're going to be the thorn on everybody else in this council member side too. If you don't stop what you're doing, we're going to take matters in our own hand, and we're going to stop it. You know that Trump had pulled 45% of the voter in the state of Illinois, 37 in the city of Chicago. That's the statistic. That means that Illinois is turning purple. We're going to turn red.
Y'all can bird dog me all y'all want, but if it's relationship over duty, then y'all don't serve the blue. And you can smirk all you want.
Mr. Sims, direct your attention towards me, please.
You a criminal. Why do I got to address you? The feds need to address you. DOJ need to address you, and hopefully Donald Trump will address you. Because you're going to protect the undocumented. While you're going to allow for the citizens in Chicago to suffer under your, 33%? But see, Joe Lopez cooked that 3% up a long time ago. Y'all called it a circuit breaker. Y'all been talked about it. Remember, before you came in here and gave that jovial speech, you need to be inspected. You wearing that creep over there?
Acting like, you just gonna bully everybody. You got people, officers whose families don't even want you to come to the funeral. You just like a schoolyard bully. That at some point, and you might not know nothing about it because you grew up in LJ. But those of us who grew up on the south side and west side of Chicago, we all know at some point that bully is cornered in the alley. And everybody come at him. And he ain't gonna have nobody to help him. That's you. That's you. Keep thinking you ain't gonna abide by what the President of the United States said. Everybody know better than that. I see you, Anna Valencia, in your red. You know what it is. This is the second time you showed up in City Council in red. You know what it is? Yeah. So you and the rest of them that know what time it is, y'all come on. You leave that loser where he is. He's a loser. No, me and Zoe, we ain't doing nothing for nobody except for ourselves. We got you, loser.
14% rating is what you appear to have, Brandon Johnson, across the United States, or how they see you. But 14% rating. Now, I'm going to talk about all those known donations of $11.5 million that came from places like the CTU, the SEIU, the American Federation of Teachers, Illinois Federation of Teachers, and then someone got the nerve to get on there and talk about cutting the pensions. What about our real estate? Because, see, we paid for these properties for a purpose and not for you to go touching it with $300 million that you want to siphon out of the citizens' pockets. Get rid of the illegals, and that'll take your money right back. Start it off with that.
In the letter calling for the special meeting, the only item up today for consideration is item number 02024-0013679. and ordinance authorizing the fiscal year 2025 property tax levy. There are 0 nays, 50 nays. This matter has been voted down. Alderman Mitchell on a motion to adjourn.
As I said, the residents of Chicago are very upset with Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. Please don't spam in the chat room. That is not called for. We can see Trump train 2024 one time. We don't need to see it 4, 5, 6 different times. Please don't do that. I appreciate you supporting Trump because I support him as well, but I don't want to have spamming in the chat, so please don't do that. I like that you speak facts, not misinformation. Denison Want says, thank you for that. I really appreciate you. I hope that you support by hitting the like button. Welcome to all that is in the clouds. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks of the land also says, thank you for that. David says, I voted for Trump, but I support all of Chicago. We need to send in support for the people. Exactly. Well, I'm doing my part by showcasing this video. This is what would have happened with other states if Harris would have gotten into the Oval Office. Kamala Harris, if she would have won, she would have changed Chicago into, well, other states to mimic Chicago, to mimic New York, to mimic all these other sanctuary cities that is out of hand right now. Luckily, she did not get in. She's not going to get in as the president and will not cause a grass fire effect to take place with other states and cities involving this migrant crisis that seems to be still happening overall. What's up, Marvin? No, I just started 44 minutes ago, so you're not too late. Yes, deport illegals, Valda Ortiz says, exactly. This is not discriminating or being divisive or hateful or nothing like that. It's just that they came over here illegally. They need to go back to where they come from. If they come legal through the right channels and process, no one has nothing bad to say about legal immigrants. We just have something to say about the illegal immigrants, and Trump is going to target them. The land says a vote for Trump was showing support for Chicago. Exactly. Yes. And if you voted for Biden and Harris, you didn't support Chicago. Exactly. And yes, well done. I will play YMCA a little bit later, but I will play that song. Thank you for the request. What's up, Blue Butterflies? How are you doing today? I'm okay. Sheena says, what's up? No, you didn't miss the live. I was just playing music because people weren't hitting the like button. Monique, what's up? How are you? Thank you. Oh, you didn't get the notification? I'm not surprised. Kay says, didn't you think your ancestors were illegal immigrants too? No, they're not. If they were stolen or sold, rather, from Africa. But you have to remember, Kay, we have ancestors here in America too, because we've been here for hundreds of years. So we're not just one thing. You can't call us an African because we're not. We're American at this point. So we're not illegal. We help build America from the ground up. America wouldn't be America without the free labor that they got from our ancestors. So we're not illegal. I know that you guys would love for us to be illegal too, because you guys would like to see us scrambling. You would like to have us under the pressure that the illegals are under, but we're not illegal. So nice try, but it doesn't fly. You said, no, there wasn't a law. Red Parrot says, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. And again, you have this obsession with slavery. I'm not an illegal immigrant. We've been here for hundreds of years, Kay. We built America when America wasn't America. We've been here for 400-500 years. We do not and are not immigrants. Okay? Immigrants are people that chose to come here. They flew in, they trekked, they did whatever they did to get here illegally. We did not come over here like that, okay? That one ancestor that I may have from Africa was sold, and the free labor that was provided built America's economy. So we're not in the same boat. We are American. I know that you guys would like to disable us from being American because a lot of immigrants are jealous of our status here and our protection here because of our birthright. Get over yourself. Our birthright has been around for hundreds of years. We have been Americanized for a long time. We are not the same. Monique says, I heard that YouTube was doing a lot of shady things to content creators like shadow banning and things like that. I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned. I'm pretty sure. Easy clap, reporting for hate. Whatever. There ain't no hate. Talking about illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants shouldn't be illegal. That's not hate. They need to go back where they came from because they came over here illegally and they disrespected our laws. Mark says, get them out, come in the right way. Our schools, hospitals, Social Security is all being overrun. Exactly. And that's not hate, pointing out the truth. Black don't want to share the benefits. Don Shalo says, no, we don't want to share benefits with illegals because that takes away from what we need and what we're trying to get. And on top of that, they will turn around and say that we owe the money. And we need to pay the money back as they're doing in Chicago. There is a deficit of almost $1 billion that Chicagoans are going to have to pay back somehow. And that's not fair. That is not fair. Of the Land says, no, they weren't. And historically, Black Americans haven't agreed with the belief that they were African, and most did not go to Africa when the option was given. Exactly. When the option of the American colonization came around, was it 1821? They had an opportunity to go to Africa, and they said, we do not care to go. And they did not go. So we are not in the vein of mindset, most of us, thinking about Africa like that. For those that do, peace unto you. Go to Africa, but just leave us out of it. Stop trying to speak for all of us because you want to go. If you want to go, then just know that you want to go. Don't put that off on all of us and say, we all want to go, because you don't speak for all of us. I can't stand when people decide to go to Africa and they start saying, we ought to. We should do this. No, where is we coming from when it's just you? Mark says they will break Social Security. Yes, that's what's going to happen if they do not deal with these illegals. Y'all better vote that imbecile out of there. I moved out when Jesse White raised the Cotty sticker price in Cook County. Will says, okay. Other Land, how are you? Okay. You said 11,000 rather, 240 per person, Maddie says. Anyone that wants to talk about illegals, apparently people are trying to say it's hate. We're talking about a topic that is going on constantly right now. You can't look anywhere on social media without hearing about mass deportation because of what Trump is going to do. So this discussion is falling in line with what Trump is going to be talking about and what his efforts are going to be about. And we're going to get into why that is in just a minute. I'm just reading some more of these comments. Pinky says to Don Shalo, Black don't need to share the benefits. Take your ass back to your country and get benefits. Exactly. Kenny says, American first. We have vets, homeless, and hungry hurricane victims need help. We can't afford it now. Exactly, Kenny. That's what I'm saying. The Land says it should be illegal for politicians to waste the money of citizens on non-citizens. Exactly. Sheena says, what's up, Sheena? How are you? Says, I'm upset that Chicago voted Democrats considering their situation. We will never learn. I don't understand why they're so inundated with being a Democrat when they are definitely being undermined. And it's so sad to witness that. You said there should be a vote on how our tax dollars are spent, Kenny says. That would make sense. Pinky says, oh, you just woke up. Of the Land says, facts, and many Americans haven't fully recovered from the pandemic crisis, but are expected to support the migrant crisis. Exactly. They're not asking. They're forcing it onto us. They're saying, you're going to have to do this because we decided to bring all these people in against the law. Well, wish you all blessed Sunday from Michigan. Thank you, Kenny. You said the administration said birthright children are going, and even DACA people, they're pissed. I'm sure they are. They never foreseen this day ever happening. They never foreseen someone thinking that this crime that they have committed throughout all this time would not catch up to them, and now it has through Trump. Sheena says money can be found for illegals in foreign governments, but not Americans. Apparently so, Sheena. Supposedly $6 billion more dollars are going to Ukraine, believe it or not, before Trump even takes office. That's the rumor I heard. Kenny says Trump won't have enough time to fix the whole Biden-Harris blunder, but GTG make dinner, but I gotta make dinner. I guess that's what you meant. Pinky says any mayor or governor that thinks that they can fight the federal government doesn't know how America works. They will be looking at prison time. Oh, wow, Pinky. I'm looking forward to that. Then they need to go. Archie says, did y'all hear of how that fool mayor's wife office renovation was estimated like over $80K or so? That's a renovated house. Wow. Well done, says America voted the king in, deal with it. Well, I voted for Trump, but I wouldn't call him a king. He is our president to be. Priscilla says, why are they so worried about how much it costs to deport them and not the cost to support them? Like, what the F? We voted for them to get the F out. We're never voted for them to come. Exactly. It's strange that many of the sanctuary cities are mostly Black and or low income cities, of the Land says. I think it's designed that way to squeeze us out. I think that they're definitely trying to get us to go and really have us scramble about on purpose. You said, I thought they voted blue, Sheena says. I thought Chicago turned red. I think that it turned more red, but I don't think that it reached the heights of completely turning it all the way red. They did attempt to, though. You said Trump will start and J.D. Vance will finish during his 8 years. I hope so. African Goddess says it needs to be well planned to reduce the cost to the public purse. They should use military planes, buses, not commercial ones. They should not detain people for long periods. Okay. And Trump train 2024, exactly, Ricky Bills, but you don't have to say it more than once. I can see it. Of the Land, Sheena says, I'm proud of California, and a lot of the cities turned red. Democrats ruined the state. Yes, they did. They definitely ruined California. Yes, we need to get the illegals out of Chicago, Felix says. Exactly. Why are the Democrat mayors protective of the illegals? Because it's an agenda that they have. It is weird. They must get funding, but it will end when Trump is in office. Trump is going to come in and put everything on fire. Yes, you said no, it's pitting the American people first. Yes, it's pitting us against the migrants, which it shouldn't be that way. They shouldn't be here to begin with. The Land says, yes, good. I just saw a report stating that tens of thousands of Chicago Democrat voters stayed home. Wow. They stayed home. I heard that. But see, their destiny was in the hands of other people now that they did that, unfortunately. Lucky for them, Trump still won. Pinky says those residents of Chicago don't understand the mayor had to take care of the illegals. It's a sanctuary city. They need to get rid of that sanctuary city status. Then you can get rid of the illegals. That's what Trump is going to do. We need to stop putting others first before Americans. We need to focus on our own BS instead of dealing with other countries' ish, Felix says. Exactly, Felix. I'm not African American though, Felix. We are Black American, but we are American. I don't even use that term. After all this time, I was 16 when that term came to be, and I have always refused to use that term. Sheena says, it is unfortunate that we are programmed to put others before us. Yes, we are, Sheena. Black Americans are definitely programmed, and they need to stop doing it because we are hurting right now. The Land says, yes, if they don't know how to vote for the proper candidate, they should stay home. But they're leaving their life in the hands of other people to decide their destiny, which is sad. And I understand that now. I wasn't even the type that would vote a lot myself. I've only voted twice, but I felt like if I didn't vote this time, somehow I was going to miss out on my destiny and deciding my destiny. This is why I decided to vote. Chuck says, so what happens when they get rid of all the immigrants and they get rid of the 13th Amendment? I don't know what the 13th Amendment is. Remind me of what that is again. What is the 13th Amendment? I think you're talking about the 14th Amendment because that's the one that's birthright. You said, what in the hell is she talking about? You can hear what I'm talking about. I'm reading off the comments right now. It's not a bad thing to put others first, but they just need to do things legally. There is a process. It is a bad thing to put others first because then you are denying your own self and your own survival, Felix. But you go on to say, to become an American, especially if you're not born in this country, you need to go through. I don't think we should ever put others before us. That's just not, nobody else is doing that. Why should we? I agree because we keep voting for our own demise. Exactly, Sheena. We keep doing that. I think many Chicagoans try to end the sanctuary city status, but their politicians won't allow it. Of the Land says, oh, wow. The immigration process, Felix says. Pinky says, you are an immigrant. Black Americans were made in America. Our ethnogenesis happened in America like yours happened in whatever country your parents or grandparents fled from. Chuck says, yes, people are obsessed. Since this situation about deportation, mass deportation is coming up, you're going to hear more and more people start talking about Black Americans. That's all they need. That's all they seem to go to is, what about y'all? What about us? We're American. We've been here for hundreds of years. We can't be touched. Y'all need to stop it. Y'all want us so much to be in the same predicament as illegals are in. We're not illegal. Chuck says, I'll go ahead and ignore the fact that he wants to get rid of the Constitution. I'm not quite sure if that's the case, Chuck. I think that people are fear-mongering us to make us believe those things, and I don't think that that's what Trump means. He wants to use the Constitution to utilize the principles that were set before and setting America back on the right track, I believe. Felix says, sharing benefits is like passing out candy you don't have. We don't have it as Americans, but they're getting their funds from somewhere. Then they just stopped the BET card that gave you $5,000 in groceries. I think they stopped that in New York. The Land says, Trump isn't trying to get rid of all the immigrants, just the ones who enter illegally. That has nothing to do with the 13th Amendment. Sheena says, illegals already have people in the government who back them up. We should focus on our own community. Exactly. We are not African Americans. We are Americans. Exactly, Carol. Pinky says, you need to read some history books or go tell a Black American in person what you just said in this chat. Felix says, oh, yeah, we need that. That's why Trump is going to fire like have the government. Yes, he's going to blow torch a lot of different things, sanctuary cities and whatnot. The Africans are trying to involve us with their immigration issues. It's not our problem. We are citizens, Sheena says. Exactly. They are scrambling and they want so bad for us to share in what they're going through. And it's like, we're untouchable. We are citizens. We are Americans. We're not you. Stop trying to equate us as being the same. We're not the same. My God. But they won't. They're going to get more and more desperate. They're going to keep bringing us up. Bringing us up. Bringing us up. What about y'all? What about y'all? What about us? Leave us out of that. Felix says, but most definitely we need to focus on the big house too, because real change comes from those who have power. And right now, a lot of shit is changing. Special Spartan says, most of the people who want immigrants gone don't want you here either. I don't give a damn about what they want because we've been here for hundreds of years. They may not want us here, but we're not the same people as the immigrants, Special Spartan. And I'm not going to treat them as if they're me because they're not. You said, I see and hear them say it constantly. Nick Fuentes got invited to the White House. Did he really? Hey, what's up, African Goddess? How are you? You said migration and mass deportation is a global issue. All the Western countries are talking about it. Yes, they are. Think for yourself says, yep, some people want to silence this talk. Some people don't want to hear it. This is so disgusting. Why did we vote Trump into office if we can't talk about it whenever we want? It's, yeah, the First Amendment. Yeah, we're allowed to talk, but people want to say it's hateful to bring it up. It's like we're supposed to be they want us to be censored so bad. They want us to not be able to say anything ever again, and it's really pathetic. But I'm going to still keep talking about it because it is the talk that everybody need to be talking about, because what's coming down the pipeline is not that long away. This is already November 17th or 18th, one or the other. We ain't got that much long. We got December, the rest of this month, and 20 days left in January. We have about 90 more days to go. Or no, that's probably less than that. Sheena says the government gave both Hawaiians and hurricane victims $750, but illegals thousands. Democrats earned their loss. Yes, they did. Shall not infringe. Felix says, Roshan says, we bring people in a cheap labor force because no blacks are working in the fields. They're always, Roshan, going to be immigrants that are legally here. And they're not, I don't think Trump is going to be able to mass deport over, let's say, 5 million. I think that he might in 4 years be able to get about 3 million out, 3 to 4 million out, if that. Felix says it's a spit in the face to the people of Hawaii. Yeah. Think for yourself says we need to prepare more people after Trump to continue the deportation. Well, yeah, if they keep it Republican, I guess. We'll give Ukraine $12 billion, but for our country, it gets jack shit. Exactly. David says, I don't care who wants or does not want us here. We are the citizens of this country and we built this country. We should get all of the money that foreign nations and immigrants get. Exactly. Trump is about to end that. I heard that too. Sheena says 12 billion just gone. That's our money, but we have to say on where it goes shit crazy. Okay, I read enough comments for now. I'll go back to the comments in a little while. I want us to see why Trump is going to do mass deportations. One of the reasons is because these undocumented people are committing crimes, for instance. Please hit the like.
Now to a case that's been thrust into the center of a political debate over immigration. An undocumented immigrant now on trial, charged with the murder of 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley in Georgia. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest. Morgan, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Ed. As you just pointed out, it's a trial that's become a flashpoint in the national debate over immigration. Both Democrats and Republicans seizing in on this case. Jose Ibarra, a Venezuelan migrant accused of thoughtfully planning out his attack. And from Lakin's smartwatch, surveillance video to DNA, prosecutors say there's mounting evidence that ties him to the scene. This morning, chilling testimony from the officer who found the body of nursing student Lakin Riley.
Found it. Ma'am. Oh, I didn't even immediately did not breathing.
In the first day of the trial against Jose Ibarra, the court also shown the final moments of Riley as she headed out for a morning run she never returned from. Ibarra, an undocumented migrant from Venezuela, charged in her brutal killing in February along the University of Georgia running trail.
When Lakin Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock repeatedly.
A chilling 911 call seeming to capture the struggle played in court as Riley's grieving mother sobbed.
Hello, this is 491. Can anyone hear me?
Prosecutors said Ibarra's DNA found underneath Riley's fingernails also proves that there was a struggle. And then there's a surveillance video showing an individual who prosecutors say is Ibarra tossing a black jacket in a dumpster just 15 minutes after they say Lakin's heart stopped.
Jose Ibarra and Lakin Riley's blood are on the jacket that he dumped in the dumpster.
The defense questioning the evidence and its validity early on.
The evidence that Jose Ibarra killed Lakin Riley is circumstantial.
Ibarra pleading not guilty to murder, kidnapping, and a slew of other charges. And Ibarra did waive his right to a jury trial, which means the judge is the sole fact finder who will determine his fate. Prosecutors have opted not to seek the death penalty. Still, Ibarra could spend the rest of his life in prison if convicted, Gio.
Such a troubling story. All right, Morgan, thank you.
That is just one of many other stories that Trump has showcased on his campaign to become the president 47, and many other cases of these illegals unvetted that have come over here and committed heinous crimes. And, people are speaking out about that. Now, speaking about Chicago, there is a YouTuber who is a Chicagoan who is talking about Chicago's immigration budget. And I want to showcase a little bit of what she's talking about because she has a lot to say. This comes from her YouTube page. Her name is Zoe. Zoe, and last name spelled Leigh, if I'm pronouncing it right. And it's entitled Trump's Demand, Investigate Chicago's Immigration Budget and Mayor Brandon Johnson. So she wants them to be investigated because, again, all this money being spent on the illegals and they are not liking what they're doing. Please hit the like.
Won the way that he won. And no one in their right mind on the Democratic side is not understanding it. Well, I won't say that. The black elected officials and the elected officials on the Democratic side know exactly why Trump won as a landslide, but they have to keep this going with this Project 2025 and all this weird stuff because they know that they're going to jail. They know that if an audit happens tomorrow, they have no reason. That money was misallocated. It was not given to these migrants the way that they thought, and they thought that it was going to be good because they thought, well, we're going to continue to have the White House. No. You do not have the White House, and this is why. And this is where we are now. So yesterday, Brandon Johnson. I seen Brandon Johnson at the building, the Public Building Commission, and let him know that in 2 years he'll be getting out of there. He's disgraced. But at his press conference that he said yesterday, he basically said that he's now abandoning the $300 million property tax hike because he says that it was to get people's attention. No, it wasn't to get people's attention. You realize that that was not going to work. Okay, I met a lady yesterday who said that her property taxes went up 23% after they did her reassessment. Okay, a white lady. Okay, and said that she has never seen nothing like that before. She said that she's probably going to try to sell her house and get up out of Chicago because it's getting ridiculous. Okay, that's not the Republicans' fault that you keep pushing the property taxes up. No, this is y'all fault because y'all were stealing the migrant money and y'all put it in y'all pockets and y'all thought that nobody wasn't going to say nothing or push back, and y'all thought y'all was going to continue to say that it was the Republicans' fault or it was the rich fault. No, this is y'all trying to push because y'all were trying to push an agenda that was never going to work, and also y'all learned how to do the blame game and play the victim because that's what the Democratic Party has always did, play the victim and try to say that it's the Republicans' fault. Nah, y'all were stealing beyond y'all means. Okay, y'all was stealing so much money and putting it in your pocket and letting the cartel come in here and do certain things like that. Now y'all don't know what to do, right? So and then he thought that it was a good idea to let people know a week before the election that he was going to be raising property taxes because of because of the migrants, because we're in a $1 billion budget deficit, but we're in a $1 billion budget deficit because of you saying, if you would have said no last year to that $51 million and saying no to any type of funding that was going to the migrants, you would not be the way that you are. All right, you already starting, Jester. That's crazy. I just put you in timeout. I gotta put you in timeout again. That's crazy. Bye, Jester. You gotta find something else. The Auntie Tom clown is not it. You gotta find another one. Auntie Tom clown is not gonna work. I embrace my trolls coming here because, like I said, a lot of these people were not hugged as a child. They probably can't come outside, horrible. They probably work for the city and stuff like that. So that's how that works. And then you want to talk about also in the press conference, he said that the president-elect is also threatening black families and that Trump has a vision to destroy public education. He says that you are destroying the city of Chicago right now. No, he's saying that Trump is trying to destroy the public education because of Project 2025. First of all, you are destroying the city of Chicago right now. You're trying to take out a $300 million payday loan to cover the cost of the current deficit and CTU demands. You're trying to force Pedro Martinez to resign because he said CTU demands were unaffordable, which they are, after finding just 52 of CTU's over 700 contract demands, what could create a $2.9 billion deficit for the district next fiscal year and $4 billion in the hole by 2029. You were trying to. We're already in. Last year we were in the. Last year during budget season we were in the hole. Now we're in the hole again. $1 billion. Nobody even talk about last year. We were in the hole last year. Nobody even talk about last year. And now you think that you're going to continue to take us down the hole, down a rabbit hole, a deficit hole with our tax dollars because you're crazy, because there's something wrong with you, because you don't know how to govern. Chicago Public Schools has a $9.9 billion budget, right? They have a $9.9 billion budget, okay? But over the same time period, Chicago has lost 38,000 students, okay? 38,000 students, but you're trying to take out a $300 million payday loan to pay teachers. We don't even have any students. We have no students, okay? Man, anyway.
You guys hear the tension and the frustration from her? man, that's a lot. She's talking about property taxes that the mayor was trying to impose on them. She's talking about them being corrupt and them trying to keep, Trump from finding out what they've done. And she hopes that there's an investigation of sorts to come up to, call them out on what they've done and how they've been moving. And, these Democrats are just corrupt individuals. They are doing a lot of stuff and they're trying to hide behind these illegals because they have been touching a lot of that money that they don't want nobody to know about. That's very interesting that she would say that. Now, I want to show a video of this mayor speaking about Black families and trying to intertwine them with illegal immigrants, how he's doing that. They always using Black people for everybody else's bullshit. We have nothing to do with illegal immigration, though. But yet they still want to use Black, saying, oh, you're harming the Black people. How are you harming Black people with illegal? Well, you're harming them when you keep illegals. When you're keeping them, siphoning monies for the illegals is when you hurt and harm them.
Well, so I'm not going to raise property taxes. That's been the lazy form of governance for a very long time in the city of Chicago and, quite frankly, around the country. We have to make sure that we're not raising revenue off the backs of working people. And that's why I'm the only candidate who's committed to not raising property taxes. Communities have been hit hard because the property taxes continue to go up. And that's why I'm committed to making sure that we're not raising property taxes to keep families in the city of Chicago. So in order to actually fix our economy, we have to eliminate the structural deficit. We get to make up to $1 billion of new investments so that we can save lives, the programs that are needed to do that. And we do it without raising property taxes.
Losing those. Hey, Mr. Mayor, what would you say to those who voted for you and now you are going to be raising those property taxes when I know initially you said that you would not during your campaign?
Well, look, as I've always said, I hold true to my values, and negotiating the details of my values is something I've always been open to. But first and foremost, I want people to be very clear that what this budget does, what I've done since I've been in office, it invests in young people, it invests in mental health and behavioral health, it invests in community safety. It invests in building more affordable homes. These investments are clear. We're not going backwards to a time in which neighborhoods that have been, disinvested in and ignored over decades, we're not going back to that time. And look, as painful as this process has been, I know that the people of Chicago don't want us to lose the vital services that we rely upon. And with the options that were in front of me, this is the reality of the options that are in front of me. We can cut and lay off our neighbors. We can find, revenue streams. But we have to make sure that we're paying our obligations as well. And, this is the beginning of an open process that I'm looking forward to engaging with all of our city council members and the community at large.
I couldn't really pay attention because of the girl.
Brandon Johnson sucks. He sucks.
Oh, they still got the illegals in Chicago, huh?
It's interesting that he still has a job, and they made the mayor of Oakland resign.
So he's basically asking for an investment from somebody.
Well, you gotta get money from somewhere. You think that money they spend, they just gonna keep spending it, going to a deficit?
So that's
find a way to get that back.
American taxpayer dollars, basically.
No.
That's taxpayer.
Illinois taxpayer dollars. Well, not Illinois. Chicago. Chicago finna start looking like LA with them houses finna be $1 million.
It said Alderman gives Mayor Brandon Johnson $300 million property tax plan the boot.
So that means they denied it.
Wow, that's good, man.
All those immigrants he were housing using the taxpayer dollars. You should have used them.
They gotta get that money back somehow.
Mayor Brandon Johnson making it clear today whether it's protecting undocumented families in Chicago or his budget priorities, he will not compromise on his values. Also today, with the potential loss of federal dollars for law enforcement if the city won't cooperate with the Trump administration's plans to deport undocumented immigrants, the mayor making it clear Chicago will not be bullied into helping ICE agents.
Returning to the election results, we heard from President-elect Trump's borders are saying that he was prepared to send squads of ICE agents into so-called sanctuary cities, including New York. He did not mention Chicago, but of course that would apply to Chicago. Are you prepared to somehow resist the arrival of ICE agents, and are you prepared to defend the city's public safety budget from attempts by the incoming Trump administration to withdraw funds if you resist working with ICE agents?
That's impressive, Heather. Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, then.
Look, we're going to defend the people of this city because, look, his attack, let's be very clear, the president-elect, former President Trump, his threat is not just towards new arrivals and undocumented families. His threats are also against Black families.
Here we go again, using the use of Blackness. Everybody goes to that. That is not equivalent to the same thing. But again, he has to throw us in every single time because he wants to liken illegals to the civil rights of Black people. What? It is so ridiculous. But this is what he called himself doing. Let's listen to that again.
Defend the city's public safety budget from attempts by the incoming Trump administration to withdraw funds if you resist working with ICE agents.
That's impressive, Heather. Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, then.
Look, we're going to defend the people of this city because, look, his attack, let's be very clear, the president-elect, former President Trump, his threat is not just towards new arrivals and undocumented families. His threats are also against Black families. He has a vision to destroy public education. Public education at the expense of the state, after all, is a Negro idea. Those are the words of W.B. Du Bois.
I'm so tired of these Democrats, man. This is what we're talking about. It's unbelievable. Look at the brothers, the Carter. I think they call the Carter brothers. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. This comes from the Cartier family. Their expression is priceless because he knows he's on some bullshit. Look at their expression. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? But again, always throw in the mix Blackness because of our civil rights that we died and bled and cried over. Generations and generations of fighting back in the 60s and whatnot. They want to liken the illegals to our plight. And it's not the same. But they're trying to make it work, the Democrats.
It gets worse and worse every day, man.
So all the Black people that came, hold on, man, hold on. All the Black people that came down and got on your ass, you gonna say this is for them too?
Yes, bro. It's people that disagree with you, Mayor Johnson. How is this a threat? Because it's a simple disagreement. People don't want illegal immigrants in their neighborhood, Brandon.
You know what? You know everybody, they need to investigate him. How much bread he touched?
And then he's using Chicago's taxpayer taxpayer money, and then he's asking for money. That's why it's getting denied, buddy. Because it seems like you can't do good with the money that you're getting. Actually, I don't know, because he is a sanctuary city, so
I respect Eric.
You know, that was Joe Biden's fault, but then you kind of like
you're enabling it.
Yeah, you're continuing to go with it. You're not doing the Eric Adams. They're trying to get away from that, brother. You continuing it. That's the problem. I can't believe he just said that, man.
That was crazy. His threats are also against Black families. He has a vision to destroy public education. Public education at the expense of the state, after all, is a Negro idea. Those are the words of W.B. Du Bois. So when he talks about Project 2025 and dismantling public education, we're talking about a system that has been designed to create leveling opportunities for families who are descendants of slaves.
Oh my God.
He's also threatening the Department of the Environment. We restore the Department of the Environment. With global population shift and climate change that's happening all over the planet, we're going to stand up and protect our environment. We're going to stand up and we're going to protect undocumented individuals. We're going to protect Black folks, brown folks, Asian folks. Listen.
But that's not what he's doing. He's ignoring the the voices there in Chicago. They have said, we don't want illegals here. We don't want to have all these costs here in Chicago because of the illegals over here. Send them home. That's what the Chicago residents, the Black Chicago residents are saying. He's still ignoring them, but using them for his arguments. Very disrespectful. I'm so glad I am nowhere near Chicago. My God, he's ridiculous.
Anti-sentiment that exists in this political space right now is unconscionable and it's dangerous. Whether it's anti-Black or anti-Semitic, we're going to protect people and we're going to invest in people. The city of Chicago will be better, stronger, and safer despite who's in the White House.
That's crazy. You know what's Project 2025?
Wow.
The fact that people are still talking about Project 2025 is actually, you know what's kind of more crazy about this? If you get rid of the immigrants, right, you could actually have funding and actually help them schools in Chicago. But since the immigrant came, y'all all of a sudden gather money to fund the immigrants. So like,
they're not immigrants, they're illegals. We gotta say it right. They're not immigrants. They're not legal. They're illegal migrants. They're illegal migrants. That's who Trump is targeting for the most part. And we got to say the language correctly. But let's listen to some more of this.
So that's the problem. Is it y'all? Are y'all mishandling the money?
Or you pointing the finger on racism, brother?
So like, what is it? You're in charge,
but it was Joe Biden's fault too, though. Joe Biden still.
He could have said, "I don't want him." It's
continuing. That's the problem.
To people, the city of Chicago will be better, stronger, and safer despite who's in the White House.
And you did touch on this earlier, but more directly, Tom Homan basically says sanctuaries need to get the heck out of the way so that ICE can do its job. I mean, what is your message back to the Trump administration with those kinds of threats, if you will?
Yeah, look, whether it's threatening, our undocumented families and new arrivals, or whether they're threatening Black and brown families who believe in public education like I do, we're not going to tolerate, and we certainly are not going to cower to someone's threat. This is Chicago. We produce the most innovative, the most talented people around the globe. There's a congressional leader, I believe out of Arizona, who was born and raised in Chicago, right? And look, the incoming administration is not just a threat to Chicago, but a threat to what is sensible about this country. And as mayor of the city of Chicago, we're not going to bend or break or cower to someone's threat. We're going to stand up and unite around our shared values, and they have my assurance that I'm going to protect the families of this city.
You're going to protect these families of the city. So if now you're going to raise taxes to hurt these families even more, which is going to hurt them in all aspects, and then you're going to continue to house people that's here illegally.
For free.
You're spending the taxpayer dollars to house them and make them survive.
And he'd be crying about reparations.
You got a mohawk. Wow. Serious. The reparations argument is interesting to me because the fact that people can continue to like not saying that it's not a justified argument, but the way that people continue to say, "Oh, reparations."
It's not justified in 2020.
Well, I personally just don't think it's coming because you're advocating for another group to get reparations while begging simultaneously for you to get reparations. Where the money goes?
I'm gonna stop pointing at y'all because y'all didn't vote for them.
They complain about high taxes. And everything expensive.
The city voted for them, so they get what they deserve.
Hey guys, if you're watching this, nothing in this world is free. You think something is free, somebody's paying for it in the back end. Always. I just don't understand. Like when people say reparations, how do you justify that in your head? Like how does that make sense?
Donald Trump is promising the largest mass deportation of undocumented immigrants in U.S. history if he is elected. NBC News has learned Trump is considering withholding federal police grants from local law enforcement agencies that decline to take part in those massive deportations. That's according to three sources close to the Trump campaign. With us now is NBC.
Do you own your own home in California?
Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat room. I'm sure there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions about this. Again, this is not hate speech. This is a conversation that America is having all over the place. And, you know, I am an American and I am for American first. That's what I'm on. That's what I voted for. That's what I hope for. That's why I'm in support of Trump. And I believe that he wants to do the right thing by doing what needs to be done, which is managing this migrant crisis. And if it means sending some of the illegals back to their origin, then so be it. Felix says they need to be investigated. I believe so. They have something to hide, Felix. They're acting mighty strange about wanting to protect the illegals so much because there's a lot of money that's been spent. And perhaps their hands have been touching on some of that money. Someone mentioned that $80 million or $80,000 was spent on the First Lady of Chicago. I did see the video and then I tried to tap it and it went away. Let me see if I can find that again. 80,000 spent on First Lady of Chicago. Let's see if it comes back up again because it kind of went away. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's some of that money that he doesn't want to be known about. This is why he's fighting tooth and nail to stop us from understanding what has happened to that money.
The city of Chicago grapples with a massive budget shortfall. NBC5 Investigates has uncovered records showing that the city spent $80,000 renovating a single office to be used by Mayor Johnson's wife, the First Lady of Chicago.
The receipts show that city workers did much of the labor and billed the city for that work. Here's NBC5 Investigates Bennett Haverly with the story. Bennett.
Yeah, Alex and Allison, these renovation or redecorating costs, well, the mayor says won't bankrupt the city, come at a time when Chicago is facing a huge financial hole and weighing all options, including potential layoffs, to make up for this deficit. Chicago's financial challenges raise questions about why the city spent more than $80,000 renovating this office in the Cultural Center for First Lady Stacey Johnson. Invoices obtained by NBC5 Investigates show the work began in room 306 as early as February and continued through August, with city workers, including painters, carpenters, and electricians, clocking more than 350 hours of time, billing the city for more than $25,000 in labor costs. Invoices also show more than $11,000 went to a vendor to replace tile and carpeting. Another invoice shows more than $43,000 was spent on furniture alone. We uncovered these.
So he spent $80,000 plus for his wife's office. How much more money did he take? How much more money is he using? Think about it. He has something to hide. Sheena says, I really do believe some of these countries emptied out their prisons. I believe it too. Trump, that's what he says. That's what he believes happened too. It's not punished enough in today's society, Felix says. What do you mean by that? Roger says, you guys keep fighting, never give up. We got to keep fighting, Roger, and tell the truth and showcase why Trump needs to be in office and take care of this migrant crisis, because it is not a pretty thing that's going on right now. Other Land says, yes, they probably did. Countries sending their criminals to other countries has been going on for a long time. A smart move by them. Yeah, unfortunately, is going to affect us overall. It was all part of their plan to get rich, Felix says. Hambone says, you the female version of Steven. Yeah, whatever. You can go bye-bye, Hambone. Hambone this bitch. Your mama. Okay, let me see. Why didn't it go away? Let me try that again. Let me just take you off for 24 hours, Hambone. Go bye-bye. T. Lowe says, just keep spewing your ignorance. Whatever. We got a lot of... What? Please get rid of the people that are in here talking crazy. We don't need you guys. If you want to go somewhere else to hear happy talk, go to their channel. Okay. Felix says, you put not good into this world, the more good you're going to get out of it. I guess you meant if you put more good into the world, you get more out of it. And if you put bad into the world, then the worst will come about. I think that's what you mean. Monique says, Sheena, that's what I heard, that these countries had emptied out their prison is history repeating itself. Okay. That's sad, but it's true. Of the Land said, yes, she's correct. NY accepted some small amount of money for the migrants too, with the hopes that they would get more, but more money didn't come. DC turned their backs on them. Sheena says, Venezuela said they are not taking their prisoners back. We'll see about that. We shall see about that. Well, I guess Alcatraz or some other jail facility is going to be where they go, but they got to get off the streets of America. That's what they got to do. Felix says they dumped them there like a pile of trash. Dumped who there? You talking about the illegals? Looks like they will roam the earth then, Monique says. Of the Land says, yes, I doubt that they will take their criminals back, not without a fight. Exactly. What's up, Golden Brown? How are you? In the 1980s, you said? Grant says, dog, you dudes turn into the same races we despise of. Ain't no races here, Grant. We can't be having just unvetted people from all over the globe roaming around America. What is wrong with you? Do you have your house wide open for people to just come in off the street and do it as they want to do in your house? Of course not, Grant. You don't have that happening in your house. We should not be having that happen in America either. The fuck wrong with you? Pinky says raising property taxes harms all American citizens. All homeowners build affordable homes that you will help illegals buy. Unbelievable. Grant says, shameful shit, y'all making money off of fueling hate. Ain't nobody making money. Where's my money at? Bye, Grant. Of the Land says, Mayor Brandon needs to explain what new investment he's talking about. He claims that they will stop him from raising property taxes. I'm sure he will continue to tax the citizens for the illegals. Exactly. That's what he wants to do. Sheena says, this guy is worse than the Beetlejuice looking lady. Get him out. Yeah. Please get rid of all the trolls, people talking stupid up in here. Just get rid of them. He got a token white liberal chick flying gang signs. Who are you talking about? African Goddess says, in your opinion, is it possible to have a conversation about migration without being a racist? Exactly. Even talking about it, you got to be a racist. This is ridiculous. Sedition, then arrest him? What do you mean by that? Arrest? Are you talking about the mayor, Brandon? It's not hateful to display the views of the politicians and then respond to them, Of the Land says. Exactly. I'm just showcasing what is being said, what the Chicago residents are saying. They have a right to be upset about how their money is being spent, tax dollars are being spent. And if that money is being spent on illegals, they have a right to point out where the money is going and why there's an issue. Pinky says, you go elsewhere with that BS. And how many illegals are you willing to support on your income after Trump stops the money? I'll wait for 1 minute for your answer. No, just get rid of those clowns. They don't need to even be up in here. They're not supporting me anyways. They're not liking the video. So fuck them. Yes, Mayor Johnson is ridiculous. Of the Land says, fraud examiner is amazing how many of these politicians haven't been arrested by now. Pinky says, Brandon on BS Black is not illegal. Let the illegals get civil rights in the countries they come from. Exactly. I'm not supporting no one with my money. I'm supporting my kids. If you are talking about tax money, those people work too and pay taxes just like us, Grant says. Ghost Magic says, the one thing I appreciated it that all people are seeing through the real racism from the Democrats. Yes, we are seeing it. They are being racist to the American people. They're trying to exchange our rights for illegal people. I mean, they're snatching away our rights in exchange to prop up illegals over Americans. That is very racist right there. But nobody wants to talk about that part. African Goddess says, if Trump stops the money people are receiving without quickly removing them, there will be a massive increase in crime. Again, this stuff needs careful planning. I believe, African Goddess, the smart way to do that is that he needs to get on YouTube and on TV to let it be understood that we don't want to handle y'all inhumanely to the illegals. You guys have a little bit of time before I'm in office. All these monies that you guys are getting from our government, y'all need to save them up and use it to get a plane ticket back home before I get in office. He needs to have a blunt conversation as such to alert the people more and more and more, to let them know that this is not a game, and that when he gets in office, it's going to be rude awakenings for a lot of people. So why not use that money that the dumb Democrats are giving you towards your plane ticket back home? That's what he needs to really do before he gets into office. And I'm sure he might do that. I mean, he's already let it be known he's going to go after the cartels. He's going to go after the criminal elements. And he's expanding that to go after the people that are undocumented. So there's millions of them that are getting money from our government the last 3-4 years. And they are the first ones that need to go. You know, they're staying at these shelters. They're staying at these hotels. They're going to get all rounded up like animals. Why would they want to go through all that? Why won't they take that $5,000 that they got from the government? You still got money plus food stamps before you have to, unless you're in New York, that is, because New York has cut that off. But other places, you're still getting money from the government. They can use that money towards their plane ticket. That's what I say. Use it now. Spare yourself the embarrassment. Spare yourself from being separate from kids or anything like that. Spare yourself. Steve says you get what you vote for. Vote stupid people, win stupid prizes. Okay. Pinky says, but you want me to continue to get support? To Grant, I think. Grant says, HTF, are immigrants stopping y'all from making money? I guess you meant what the F. Yes, they are stopping people from making money. Yes, they are. Of the Land says many people have suggested that Mayor Johnson is intellectually challenged. I think he also evil, trying to throw Black Americans under the bus now. Yes, he is, using us. Unbelievable. African Goddess says, what about the hotel and other associated costs? Pinky says, they're illegals. How are they paying taxes working? Grant says, what the F does a hotel have to do with you? The monies that's being spent, Grant, could be used on the communities at large, the communities that are suffering right now. They're skipping over other communities to help out illegals. That's what the issue is. That's what them being in a hotel, how that affects other folks. Here we go with Project 2025 again. He is a liar. Exactly. Yes, get the F out. Piggy ain't playing. You guys are funny. African Goddess says, absolutely nothing to do with me because I'm not American. If I was, I would not be happy to be supporting people who have not paid into the system. Quay Worthy says, I can't with this dude. Of the Land says, if you've kept up with the news, you've had seen that the migrant crisis has been allowed to crowd out Black neighborhoods, crowd out their schools, increase their taxes, etc. Exactly. The voters of Chicago made a mistake on this one. Yeah, unfortunately. But luckily, still Trump was chosen. Boss Bully Boy says, warning. I don't understand what that means. Of the Land says, yes, many Chicagoans know that Mayor Johnson isn't good. They try to have a vote recall on him, but he found a loophole that didn't allow it. Said they're stuck with that idiot. Wow. African Goddess says, European studies have shown when migrants take low-paying jobs, they and their dependents end up assessing the welfare system. In other words, the taxpayer funds the low wages business pays. Recall this man exactly. If you are for reparations, Democrats had 12 years to give reparations. Ghost Magic, I'm not holding my breath about reparations. I think that is a non-productive conversation, because if they were going to give it to us, they would have by now. And nobody is really on board with giving reparations, but it's used as a tool to hang in front of our faces like a carrot, to get us all emotional over monies that we'll never see probably in my lifetime. So I'm not holding my breath about reparations, but that does not mean that I should not have an opinion about how illegals are getting monies towards just taking care of them and wasting money on them when they shouldn't even be here. Sheena says, hopefully the federal government can help. Help who? Help the Chicago people? Wait, is the left suddenly worried about anti-Semitism again? Boss Bully says. That's just something he just brought up just to say, I think. Mojo says that's why Chicago should set up militia and just start sending them back to their own countries. I heard that. Of the Land says, I doubt reparations will be on anyone's table. Black Americans have to focus on accepting their identities as Americans and their birthrights. Exactly. That is the key. Because as this conversation is being had, all you keep hearing is how Black Americans somehow is coming up in the conversation. It's like, we don't have nothing to do with illegals. My God, leave us out of that conversation. I agree, but the argument is just used as extortion. Ghost Magic says, of the Land says, Pinky says, Mayor Johnson is going to prison. I hope so. I'm not going to bat an eye if he does. Of the Land says, yes, that would be good if it's legal. It might not be legal for a state to perform deportations unless the feds agree with it. Sheena says, why does the mayor's wife need an office? What does she do? Exactly. This is discussing that stuff like this is going on, Jeff says. Sorry, I should call it a vote bribery. Okay. Susie Q says they gave them $3,000 on a card plus paying direct rent to landlords. Yeah, they could use that $3,000 and probably have money to spare to get a plane ticket back to Venezuela, back to wherever they came from. Simple as that. Sheena says, I thought I timed him out. I know, it was hard to time that fool out. They got free phones and free service, Susie says. Yes, they got a lot of stuff free. Talk about ignorance to its fullest, Julio says. Okay, I don't know what you mean. Most are doing what I'm about to do, so save it. Most are doing what I'm about to do, so save it. What are you talking about? Yes, all the money could have been spent on citizens. Yes, it could have. Kiki Demonize says a country is not a single family dwelling. Not quite sure what you mean by that. Jeff says it's not racist. We must take care of all Americans before taking in other people. Exactly. What's up, Fred? How are you? Special thank you to Black, Hispanic, and young voters, Ghost Magic says. Yeah, the Hispanics were the ones that came out and made Trump the winner for the most part. So they're the ones that are going to have to live with that decision, because the Black vote primarily was Democratic like dummies. So you guys can't blame the Black folks for what Trump's about to do. You need to blame the Hispanics and you need to blame the white people. Don't come around us with the bullshit, because most of the black people, despite my vote, which was only 8% of black Americans or black folks in America, voted for Trump. 92% voted for Kamala. What's up, Big Chief? You said, sis, no lie, the way you just said, the F wrong with you. Get me hot and bothered. I love it. African Goddess says, Kiki demonized. No, a country is not a single dwelling. The risk of letting people in unvetted are much larger. More people impacted. Of the Land says, yes, and while all those funds and perks were being showered on the migrant crisis, citizens were being told that funding wasn't available for needed services. Exactly. You can take in new people and take care of your current people, Kiki Demonized says. I don't think so, Kiki. They got to come in the right way. That's why there is a process of being vetted. You can't skip over the process while complaining about not getting handouts. Damn, that is pathetic, Ghost Magic says. I don't know who you're talking about. African Goddess says, the question is, can the United States afford the current rates of illegal migration? No. Kiki Demonized says, the overwhelming majority of people who are here illegally are here due to the expired visas. I like how y'all are just worried about paperwork. I'm worried about anyone that is causing crime. I'm worried about anyone that could potentially slash and dash other programs because of taking care of these migrants that have come over here illegally. That's what I would be worried about. And I'm not quite sure what you mean about paperwork. Are those expired visitors or student visas, to Kiki? The difference between legal and illegal immigration is paperwork. People passing over the border, Bogart and pass border patrol people is not the difference between paperwork. I'm sorry. Free, 5,000. Are you kidding me? Susie says. The conversation has already been had about what he's planning to do. Some of our self-deporting as we speak. Exactly. African Goddess says, if it is control, then you control who comes in the numbers. Chicago voted in favor of Biden. He kept his promises. Why mad? Juna says, I'm not mad. I'm talking about it, though. But the Chicago people have a right to be mad, because who could expect that these migrants would come and get all the monies? 500 and what was that again? It was $500 million plus just for the migrants that came over here over the last few years. 500 million plus. That's ridiculous. Of the Land says, well, in most cases, citizens have to take care of those immigrants who have been illegal because their visas expired. Sheena says some of these illegals were flown into the country and some ran through the borders. Exactly. These illegal people are not all black. Quick, this racist. These illegal people are not all black. Susie says, I know they weren't all black. Most of them weren't African at all, but some were that came over here as well. But I don't equate African as being the same as black Americans. They're not the same, if that's what you're trying to imply, Susie. They're not the same. Pinky says those cities won't get more money, so what they have will have to cover them until ICE picks them up. They have an option to get on a plane. Of the Land says, it said that tens of thousands of Chicago Democrats set out the vote and stayed home. I think that shows that they aren't satisfied with Dems either. Firestorm Fox says, I live in Louisiana and we've had quite a few illegal immigrants camping out by the river. nobody seems to want to do anything about them. And they were caught stealing people's stuff from their homes. See? Unbelievable. Let's wait and see what happens. I think it's going to be a rough and tough. It's definitely going to be rough and tough. Let me see, where was I? Yes, the people of Chicago, Sheena says. Pinky says, this country was not built on immigration. Read some history books. There were people already here when Europeans got here, and all they did was delete the natives and enslave them. Of the Land says, yes, sadly, crime usually increases when illegals are allowed to camp out. If they have no money, they might start stealing. Yeah, they will. Shay says, hell yeah. Melanie says, we need to take care of the vets who kept us a free country before we even think about helping elsewhere. Exactly. Pinky says, not in good financial position to take in millions in a short period of time. No, we're not. Teresa says they have to take the money for us, paid for by us, and give to them. Who thinks this is right? None of us. Pinky says, and those expired visa holders are worried to go look at the immigrant attorney channels. They got in and had intentions of going back home and had no intentions, I guess you meant to say, of going back home. Yeah, the Democrats are planning on dismantling America, Fred. Exactly. MAGA President-elect James H. says, exactly. Lenny says, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Okay. Yes, some have promised to continue, to Fred. And Pinky says, welcome back. There are a lot of people in America that think it's okay and want us all to take care of those people, but ask them to let an illegal live in their home. Exactly. They're not going to do that. It's about to get a lot more affordable. Lenny says taking it out of FEMA was a bad thing because of Harris. And Robert says, let's see what Trump does if you black people. What are you talking about? Other Land says, yes, it is. I've seen lower prices at the grocery store since President Trump was elected. The fleecing of America is coming to an end. Yes, it is. So with that, y'all, let me get to this next video. I appreciate everybody for listening in the chat room, conversing, but could you do me a favor and hit the like button? There's a lot of people listening and they're not participating in hitting the like button. I want to now go to Prosperity channel, which is showcasing the Chicago people speaking more to the mayor of Chicago. And we're going to hear what went on just a few days ago. And this is what the Chicago people have to say overall.
Speaker is Joy Bunton.
We still have alders in office who are rubber stamped for Rahm Emanuel, who ruled carte blanche. They let him close black schools and fire black teachers, which led to a $9.25 million settlement. There was no request to meet with the school board, which he appointed. No questioning of the CEO. Dallas was allowed to take on payday bond loans to the tune of $650 million. Chief Administrator David Patel issued $1 billion in toxic swaps. I partly blame Obama for endorsing Rahm in the first place, and other Dems like Dick Durbin who endorsed his re-election even after he boxed the LaQuan McDonald case. And David Axelrod kicked rock for recommending Rahm to DNC chair. Where were the alders who said nothing while Rahm Emanuel screwed students, teachers, and principals over, especially in the black community? Since Mayor Washington, we finally have a mayor who wants to fully fund public schools and pensions. But now there's resistance. He and CTU went to Springfield in May to try and get the state to pay the $1 billion it owes to avoid raising property taxes. This mayor decided to forego a raise, but the alders who co-signed Rahm Emanuel's actions aren't doing that. Are y'all's pensions fully funded? How about firemen, policemen? All city and municipal employees should have their pensions fully funded, including CTU. I read the last property tax hike was under Rahm Emanuel, and those alders who are still here voted for it. This mayor is trying to take care of the city's employees, not demanding CPS take out a high-interest loan anymore. Some of you have your six-figure incomes, raises, benefits, and pensions, want to let other employees lose their jobs. The double standard is disgraceful. Those who are fine with mismanaging CPS and demonizing CTU, which is member-led, are fighting to give all students resources they deserve, and you're co-signing their pensions not equally funded, ripping them off. You should be ashamed of yourself being independent now under Johnson, but not then under Ron. Do the tips or whatever, but start fully funding pensions that teachers and staff earn. Thank you.
I'm going to start off with talking about the budget and the real estate and all these things, and I'm going to get it out in 3 minutes. 14% rating is what you appear to have, Brandon Johnson, across the United States for how they see you. But 14% rating. Now, I'm going to talk about all those known donations of $11.5 million that came from places like the CTU, the SEIU, the American Federation of Teachers, Illinois Federation of Teachers, and then someone got the nerve to get on there and talk about cutting the pensions. What about our real estate? Because, see, we paid for these properties for a purpose and not for you to go touching it with $300 million that you want to siphon out of the citizens' pockets. Get rid of the illegals, and that'll take your money right back. Started off with that. Now, let's go to a lot of the people here, these aldermen. We had 31 aldermen, and we got one that's playing on the fence about protecting the citizens and their real estate and these property tax increases. But let's also talk about these aldermen that we got 15 of them that's getting money from the CTU since 2009. Oh yeah, I'm bringing the facts. The facts is only what I'm going to talk about. And let's also talk about the 5 aldermen who not supporting the citizens, but also are not supporting with this, and receiving money from CTU as well. So you 5, you know who you are, and so do I. List right in my hand. Also, let's talk about the 4.1% increase of salary for 2025, starting from $123,000 to $152,000. So, I mean, this is all public information. It's not like it's something that's hidden. So, because us as citizens, we need to know what's going on, because all of you all are called mini mayors. And the mini mayors are responsible for the citizens within your ward. You are accountable, not just responsible, to be able to speak up on our behalf and not sit here weak and not stand up for us. But the 31 that has stood up, thank you. For the one that's riding the fence, who don't want to sign the letter, but says that he's not going to vote for this, thank you. Because a man don't stand up. And we know who all of you are, because, again, it's in my hands. So don't think you're not known, because this is public. So when you're collecting money from somewhere, just know that people like me research and find out and expose. Speak up for your citizens.
Specifically, kind of a couple things.
Can't hear you. You need to stop.
I know you called questions, so you
shut up.
You allow for comment before you call the question. I thought you would raise your hand to give comment, not to call the question.
See, he's the one on the list that wants us to get our taxes increased.
I'll recognize that. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. No, he's the head of the march.
So the previous question, who would be calling the question, the motion rather, is not debated. So with that, all those in favor of calling the question, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, say nay. And the chair, the ayes have it. The chair recognizes Alderman Lopez. Thank you, Mr. President. Can I answer a roll call on the original motion? Very well. So there's a motion for this ordinance to be completed with a roll call vote. So with that, members, please, if you could e-vote application to record your vote at this time. Madam Clerk, if you would.
It's 47, Lopez. We good. We ignore him. 47 we got. We got you, Lopez.
They are the only ones that got down.
That's what I'm saying.
And not for all purposes. So therefore, all members of the room have to pass the vote. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't want to say no.
I'm gonna try to fast forward it to see if it's gonna have anybody else talking. I guess they were waiting to vote for that proposal, and it didn't go through. The $300 million for taxing house homeowners, it didn't work. The people are so upset with Mayor Brandon Johnson is that even the police officers don't want him to appear at their funerals. Check this news clip out. Hold on. They have nothing to say to Brandon Johnson. They are disgusted with him.
Agreement over how to honor a fallen Chicago police officer.
Enrique Martinez's funeral is Monday, and his loved ones are asking the mayor not to attend, but he says he's going anyway.
Our Jermont Terry shares the perspective from one of Martinez's family friends tonight. Jermont?
Joe and Erica, as the city prepares to honor Officer Martinez, who was killed while on duty, his family, through representatives, making it very clear that the man leading the city should not step foot into the services. Standing outside the 8th Police District, members of the FOP and close friends of fallen CPD officer Enrique Martinez spoke out in solidarity.
Enrique Martinez's family called me up this evening and said they could not do this. They definitely do not want the mayor at any of the functions for Enrique. Plain and simple.
They are here relaying a message from the family directly to Mayor Brendan Johnson. Martinez's family says the mayor's policy for public safety placed Martinez and many Chicago officers in harm's way.
Change the policies that put them at risk.
The mayor honored the wishes of Officer Louise Weska's family earlier this year and did not attend the funeral services. Weska's mother here making sure Martinez's family doesn't endure the back and forth frustration she says she went through with the mayor's office during her grief.
If the mayor really wants to honor, in this case, Enrique Martinez's family, he must respect the Martinez family wishes.
Yet the mayor's office saying he will attend, and a statement saying in part, the mayor of Chicago will attend all honors funeral services for every police officer, firefighter, or EMT who loses their life in the line of duty. These official honor services are solemn moments to honor the sacrifice of our officers and first responders. It is
so he doesn't want to honor the just a disrespectful dude overall. If the family says we don't want you there, he should not go there. And he's still saying he's going to appear. How disrespectful is that? What type of guy is this mayor? Very, very, very disrespectful this mayor is. He should get slapped up. If he came to a funeral where he's not wanted, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody put hands on his ass. And I would love it if they would slap him up for what he's doing.
There's honor to support the officers of the entire Chicago Police Department, especially in moments of grief.
This mayor better not show up. That's so disrespectful.
Now, we should note that Mayor Johnson was at the hospital the night Officer Martinez was killed, and he did offer condolences to the family directly. As of this hour on this Friday night, the mayor says he plans to be there. Reporting live outside the 8th Police District.
Unreal. Unbelievable. I am so glad that I do not have the pleasure or the unpleasure of meeting or knowing this mayor. He just definitely does not know what his boundaries are. And he does not have respect for nobody except for his monies. Whatever he's doing underhandedly is what he has respect for. Okay, let me see. Where was I? Please hit the like, y'all. I know that you guys are still listening, but there's still not a lot of people hitting the like. I'm trying to find out where I was last to read off some of these comments. And I read quite a few. Okay, I think I was around here. Okay, Lenny says taking it out on FEMA was a bad thing because of Harris. Oh yeah, you're talking about that fired person of FEMA who instructed the workers to bypass Trump supporters, and she was fired. And she did an interview recently talking about it, saying that it was because of the Trump supporters being very mean to the workers is why they were bypassed. So she says. She said that they were being mean and disrespectful and threatening and whatnot. That's why they got skipped. I don't know if I believe her or not, but that's what she said in this interview on why she was fired. In fact, I'll play that since I have it on my phone. Let me see where she starts off at. Hold on. She's being scapegoat, she says. Let me start off where about she's at.
Well, FEMA insisting that the case of an agency supervisor telling relief workers to avoid Trump campaign signs at homes during disaster response is an isolated incident. Let's bring in the FEMA official who was fired over the incident, but claims she has been made a scapegoat. Marnie Washington. Marnie, thank you so much for coming on. I want to read this because this is from the FEMA administrator, Deanne Criswell. She said this, and she's talking about you. She said, quoting here, recently, a FEMA employee departed from these values to advise her survivor assistance team to not go to homes with yard signs supporting President-elect Trump. This was reprehensible. I want to be clear to all of my employees and the American people, this type of behavior and action will not be tolerated at FEMA. You say this is not your policy. You're not political. You don't care about the right or the left. You are simply doing your job and following your orders. So you're telling me these orders came from somebody above.
Correct. When I first reported to Florida, I was already on another team. I was there as a specialist. This was the culture. They were already avoiding these homes based on community trends from hostile political encounters. It has nothing to do with the campaign sign. It just so happened to be part of the community trend. When you focus in on the campaign sign, you are violating the Hatch Act. So that is something that FEMA definitely wants to stay away from because it was created in 1939, and that was to protect citizens from being alienated based on their political stance.
So just so we're clear, you're saying that basically FEMA was doing this out of safety. They were doing that safe because they had some adversarial conflicts with some people with Trump signs in their front yards. So they banned every Trump sign. They said, don't go to any homes of Trump signs. And if that's the case, why would they come down so hard on you? Why are you the scapegoat? Why are you the one they're saying was, quote, reprehensible for actually putting this in place when you did not put this in place?
What's reprehensible is they're not being transparent. Why is this coming down on me? I am the person that jotted down the notes from my superiors, and my notation in Teams chat was exposed from their surge capacity team. That's exactly what happened, and it's easy to then say, well, haha, it's her name, it's her writing.
Right.
Make her accountable for it. But I'm just simply executing, again, what was coming down from...
What she should have did was recorded that conversation. That's what I would have did. I would have covered my butt by recording the supervisor over her that told her to do that, and would have saved that recording just in case something like this would have happened. That's what she should have done.
My superiors.
Right. And I'm wondering, because it says things like when on this list, it says avoid the Trump houses, drink water, take rest breaks. So there's a list of things. You didn't come up with those either, right?
No.
So you didn't come up with any of this list. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, sir.
And I'm wondering, how do you prove that, Marty? You're trying to save your reputation. How do you prove that this order came from above?
Well, the last time that question was posed, I verbally called on all DSA crew leads and specialists that are still active with FEMA and former to come forward and discuss our avoidance policies, our de-escalation policies. Because to be honest with you, we don't just skip I know the highlight here is the Trump campaign signage, but if someone is in another, like an urban community, and it's a different culture and someone feels uncomfortable, we can't go to that home. If you have loose dogs and someone on the team is comfortable with dogs and another person is not, we can't go to that home because of safety precautions.
So you feared the Trump houses. The people on FEMA were fearing the Trump houses like they were fearing people with vicious dogs in their backyard.
Exactly. And that's based on the trends. You can ask FEMA for incident reports. They have those because they ask us to report out if there's an incident at home. And unfortunately, again, again, the passionate supporters for Trump, some of them were a little bit violent.
But all of them were painted with the same broad brush. All of them as being, we're not going to go near these because we think they're all bad people.
No, because some were registered. Some did receive case inquiries and updates.
Yeah.
Some of them came outside and said, "Hi, I appreciate what you're doing. I would like to participate." And then some were very vocal and firm that they didn't want anything to do with FEMA, and they thought that we were crooks.
And lastly, we've got to go. We're running out of time here. Did this also happen in other places? This was Florida, but did it happen in North Carolina? Did it happen in other places?
Georgia as well. Just ask the crew leads and the specialists. They will discuss their avoidance and their de-escalation methods in the field. Okay. And I think Ms. Criswell would be happy to know what's going on, truly.
Marnie?
They made her a crash dummy for the Democrats, but they are she claims that the people were being unruly or the situation was dangerous with dogs or whatever like that, and it happens to be Trump supporters. So I don't know if I believe her wholeheartedly, but I think that she should have recorded the conversation. Like I would have, hung up the call and then called her right back to record her and say, what if I get in trouble for this? How am I going to handle bypassing Trump supporters based off of what you're telling me to do? And I would have recorded that conversation, but that's just me. I would have protected my ass. Robert is asking, let's see what Trump does for you black people. Well, Robert, as long as he's not targeting us, that's all I care about, not being targeted. I know that you wish ill will for us like many other people do, but we're not the target. We're not illegal. So that's all I can say. Trump is for American first, and we happen to be American, whether you like it or not, Robert. Of the Land says, yes, it is. I've seen lower prices at the grocery store since President Trump was elected. The fleecing of America is coming to an end. I heard that. Pinky says, those illegals have been moving from my state to Louisiana since that Hurricane Katrina. A lot of contractors hired them. Okay, thanks. I agree with the black people, Jerry says. Yeah, they're speaking truth. Firestorm says, many American citizens have forgotten that our country is called the United States of America. We are supposed to act like a family. Now we're divided. This country needs to forget about race. Yeah, they should. They should. Please hit the like, you guys. Denver in a nutshell, Peggy says. Jasmine says, I'm Latina. My parents came legally, and I love my background, but I don't want anyone coming here to live off of my parents' tax money that they worked hard from zero to having their legacy in real ES. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, I understand what you mean about you don't believe in illegal immigration. And I'm glad that you said that, because there are other legal immigrants that feel the same way as you. Of the Land says, for the most part, many citizens in America aren't racist. I live in a racially diverse country and haven't experienced it here. African Goddess says, I hear you. My parents were migrants to the UK. What's going on presently is madness. Yes, agreed. Jasmine says. Of the Land says, welcome to the live. Yes, I think that many Latinos that voted for Trump felt the same way as you. Yeah, and unfortunately, there are people that's upset with Latina or Latino voters because they figure that other people in the family are not legal, and that the Latino community should have thought about them instead of thinking about themselves, and they chose themselves and voted Trump. That's what happened. Ralph says, people saying no to all money jobs being get rid of 50 million people is how good life is then. Why don't you just manage it better? That lady a fool. I'm not quite sure who you're referring to, but 50 million people, I don't think he's going to get out of the country. I don't think that that is possible. I think maybe 5 million, if that, he'll be able to get out. But I don't foresee 50 million. African Goddess says, I understand migrants wanting a better life, but migration has to be controlled. That's exactly all that we're saying. Is this 1936 Germany? Who next? Ralph says, I don't think we're going to turn into Nazi. That's not what's going to happen. Pinky says, Prosperity is the name of her YouTube channel. She is very active in turning Chicago red and not letting that city council spend more money on the illegals. Please go see her channel. Yes, please go see her channel. Pinky says, you're an immigrant to Ralph or someone in your foreign country. Either way, America is not your business. Get the F out. Of the Land says, thanks, I believe I've already subscribed to her. African Goddess says, to compare migration control to the Holocaust is madness. No one is proposing genocide. Exactly. What's up, Easy X? How are you? These MNF city government officials should be happy that we live in a country that respects law and order. They know that would happen to them if they lived in Mexico and was stealing. Exactly. African Goddess says there are issues of global inequality that need addressing, but piling everyone into a few rich countries is not the answer. Jasmine says inequality is necessary. We can't all be treated the same. Teresa says, Jasmine, why can't we all be treated equal? That's all most people hope for. African Goddess says, why is he attending against the family's wishes? Good heavens. Very disrespectful. I want him to get his hands. I want him to get touched on. Like if I told you I don't want to see your ass at my family member's funeral and you showed up, you getting beat up. You getting slapped up. That's what should happen to him. Then that way he will never take his ass to another funeral when uninvited. Jasmine says there will never be equalities with each individual. Pinky says, why can't all be treated equal? That's probably why your parents moved to America, for equal footing. Now you say this, bringing that third world mindset to America. What's up, Uncle Andy? How are you? Of the Land says, yes, the Chicago police force is against that idiot Mayor Brandon Johnson. Also, he's recently ended the use of Shot Spotter, which helped the police respond to crimes. What? I'm not surprised. That's crazy. Easy X says, do these officials, including the mayor, have kids and other family members? How can they go home at night to their families? So disgraceful. Their families must be ashamed of them. I would be. Pinky says, that statement you made is what making Americans and American citizens to think we don't need more immigrants. Pitto Love says, why would people in need be disrespectful and the liberals not? Why would people in need be disrespectful? I don't know why they're being disrespectful, Pitto. But crossing the border is breaking laws. That is being disrespectful out the gate. They should deal with their governments where they come from. Demand to be treated different, better, just like we had to do here in America. Why can't people do what we did back in the day? What's wrong with them raising up against their government to see change happen in their land? Why do they have to go to other lands and raise hell over in our land? Good topic. The incompetence of sanctuary cities, Mayor Johnson, etc. Pinky says, people in need, are you talking about illegals? They are not the responsibility of America, Pinky says. So you're saying that my parents were equally treated the same way. So you say that my mom and dad got the same footing as yours, Jasmine says. Jasmine, if you family came from another place, they should not be treated on an equal footing because they have not put the blood, sweat, and tears into the country. So they had to earn what they got, which you said they did. So you should be very prideful that they were able to make up for what they didn't put into the country and eventually put stuff into the country to become citizens. So congratulations. No, I'm not talking about the FEMA incident. I'm in Florida and everyone needed help. She lying? You think so? Of the Land says, well, that was very irresponsible of FEMA to claim that all Trump supporters would be aggressive towards FEMA workers. She just said, Letitia James, Pito Love says, Jeff and Neff says, yup. Pinky says, I'm saying all need to be treated the same in America, and they probably were treated badly where they came from and didn't want that for you. Jasmine says, yes, and you're just another, what are you? Jasmine asks. Of the Land says, well, that's dumb of her to follow those rules. She should have demanded that her supervisor put this in writing. Something like that. I'd have been like, I just don't feel good about what you're saying without it being put in writing so that I cover my butt just in case this comes up later. And my job is up for grabs behind me following this because it sounds a little bit prejudiced. Yeah, she should have had it in writing, or she should have got a recording of her saying exactly that fact. I would have made her say it. Well, without her knowing that it's being recorded, but I would have said, I need to have it in writing just to cover my butt. And then the lady would have continued to say what she was going to say on record of recording. You said, your parents are from another country, so I don't know what they got and why would they get the same footing where they came from by the government there. Of the Land says, if she wasn't biased, she would have demanded that her workers be allowed to service all the hurricane victims. I don't believe her, but okay, if she says so. Monique says, Jasmine says, actually, my cousins are in Mexico, but they have USA citizenship. They have businesses in Mexico. Elena says, absolutely, I am a Texan and a Mexican of Mexican descent, but what took you there and then everyone else soon longed to realize this? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Lactose Cow says, God dang the United States. Okay. Pinky says a lot of people will self-deport or get arrested for crimes and be deported after they finish their sentence. Yes, that's exactly what I mean about equality, Jasmine says. Of the Land says many Latinos voted for Trump because they have businesses in America and he's for business owners. Exactly. Easy X says, of course, Trump can't deport them all, but this is MAGA phase will be several cycles, so it could be 50 million deported over time. Sorry, not sorry, illegals. 50 million sounds extreme. I'm not quite sure if we can get to 50 million. I don't know about that. Pinky says most Latinos voted for Trump because they don't want more immigrants to get into America. They're all over. So social media saying just that. Pinky says Narna, Washington, the FEMA worker, wasn't the only employee that was given those instructions, and she has a lot other employees who are coming to her defense. I would get it in writing. I would get a lawyer too. I would get it in writing, or I would get get a tape of someone saying that and get a lawyer. Jasmine says it's okay to work harder to get to the shoe on your feet. That's what makes us have goals and not be given a limit to what we can achieve with money, fame, living a comfortable life is what we all aim for. You skipped it. Ami says, okay. Easy X says, why do a lot of illegals from Latin America don't stay in their home countries to make it better? They are tribal just like Africans, not united, and are cannibalistic, but they unite when get here. Would not want to have more than the other. Yes, agreed. I believe that it would be a lot of people. Yes, Trump 2024. So in closing, y'all, it's apparent that the Chicagoans that are in Chicago, the Black Americans, are very upset with the illegals siphoning monies towards them being in hotels and shelters and food stamps and all this money that the government has given them. And then the mayor is turning around saying, we want to tax you guys up the yin yang. And the people are saying, we don't want to be taxed. We want you guys to do away with these illegals because they shouldn't be here. And Trump, again, is on the side of getting the illegals out. Before I go, let me just showcase this video of a Mexican that is trying to tell Black folks, I almost forgot, to relax, to not worry about what the Mexicans or anyone is going to say, because again, everybody is trying to make it about why Black people are not going to do this and what Black people should do now that the Latinos or undocumented people are up for being deported. It is not Black Americans' problem. As I said before, we should rest and let the Latinos worry about being deported or not. They should have to face their own plight and struggle with Trump, not us trying to fight for them. We have our own fight to fight. We're struggling to survive in America. And this is going to give us a chance just to take a rest. But we have a Mexican man. I believe he's gay. He has a video on Nana Sim, who is talking to the Black people about not worrying about Latino people for a change. This is very interesting what he had to say.
For you once. I see a lot of you tagging some videos and on saying Black people are really tired. Let's get into this video.
I find it hilarious that when Black women tell y'all that they're tired and that they will no longer be fighting your battles, that the response from so many of you is the gaslighting outrage in where you heard them say that they are moving forward anti-everything other than Black. Because that's not what the fuck they said. What they said was, we are tired of carrying the emotions of others. We are tired of the laborious task of teaching and educating others about racism, about prejudice and bigotry, macroaggressions, microaggressions. We are tired. They said, we are tired of being asked to support other movements and other communities just to be left carrying the movement that we didn't start. And y'all who heard this are mad, upset, offended. Bitch, the Walmart free bin audacity that y'all have. According to the data, according to the numbers, right? Black women were the leading demographic in this election. The leading demographic in making sure that our country did not fall into the hands of someone that will set us back hundreds of years. Black women who are at the front of almost every single disenfranchised, disproportionate policy that affects a community. They literally, when it comes to reproductive rights, and we talk about birthing mortality rates, Black women are at the top of the list. When we talk about certain illnesses and cancers and receiving equitable health care or not receiving equitable health care, Black women are at the top of the list. When we talk about protections, being heard, when we talk about job security, elevations, promotions that are not being given, Black women usually, 9 times out of 10, top of the list, right? But in every single solitary social civil movement, Black women show up and carry the burden and the bulk of said movement. And they said to y'all, we're tired. We're not doing it anymore. We done told you what the fuck y'all need to know. You don't listen. And so we're going to go back into our community and do the work we need to do for us. And whatever movements you have, whatever fights you need to fight, y'all can do that on your own. They never said that they were anti-you. They never said that they didn't support you fighting for your rights to exist in the communities you belong to. They just said, we're not going to let you fool us again into making us the backbone of your movement. When the reciprocation of that support, the reciprocation of that fight is never fucking returned. That's what they said. And I'm also not going to let you motherfuckers get on this application and come for Black men. I don't give a fuck what somebody told you. The data shows us that Black men showed the fuck up and showed the fuck out in this election. Black men and Black women were the top 2 demographics of people voting for true change, voting for equity, voting for human decency in this motherfucker.
They were for everybody else but themselves. And that's what the gay Mexican guy is saying, that by and large, Black Americans or people that were in America labeled as Black voted for Kamala Harris, which again, in my opinion, was against their own interests and their own survival, because it placed everybody else over Black folks. I'm glad that their vote didn't matter, that ultimately Trump won, because Trump is for American first. And that's the way it's going to be. I pray that Trump is protected, that no other attempted assassinations will come to him, and that he will be able to do what he has in mind. We are not the target. He is not targeting us. He is targeting illegals, and that is that. Now, I'm sure as time goes on, before January 20th, we're going to hear so many other videos that's going to be made by Mexicans, made by other groups of people, that's going to try to get Black folks back on the bandwagon with trying to support them over themselves. And I hope that we don't do it. We can't do it. We can't afford to do it. We got to listen to the people in Chicago. We got to listen to people struggling behind these illegals in New York. We got to listen to the people that's struggling with these illegals in Pennsylvania, Colorado, Michigan, wherever they may be. And understand that their battle was not ours. That's the truth. People assume because we're Black, because we went through civil rights, that we have to care about everybody else's problems and plight, and we don't. They can go to other white people and complain to them. They can go to other groups of people and complain to them. Leave us out of your conversations, because this time, and hopefully this time for real, Black people are not going to get involved in these illegals complaining about their so-called rights that they are using off of our civil rights, because that's what they're claiming. Civil rights they're claiming that they shouldn't even have because they broke the law coming up over here. So I don't have no compassion for them, to be honest. I have compassion for the homeless vets. I have compassion for low-income people struggling. I have compassion for Americans struggling off of what the illegals are bringing to their states or cities. I have compassion for them. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but that's how I feel. So with that being said, I want to play a little bit of music because it's been a while. And Monique says that she wants to listen to Black Butterfly by Dennis, or what's her name again? Denise Williams. And then I'm going to play YMCA. Maybe close with that song because I really don't like that song, to be honest with you. YMCA, I've never really liked that song, but I'll close it out with that song. If you guys have any other suggestions, please type it into the chat and I will play it. Nobody has hit the like anymore, so I'm going to conclude the live. But those that want to stay and listen to a little music, here I'm about to start with that. Please hit the like.
Morning light, silken dream, take flight as the darkness gives way to the dawn. You survived, now your moment has arrived. Now your dream has finally been born. Black butterfly, sail across the water. Tell your sons and daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterfly, set the sky on fire. Rise up even higher, so the angels with the tide can catch your wings. While you slept, the promise was unkept, but your faith was as sure as the stars. Now you're free, and the world has come to see just how proud and beautiful you are. Black butterfly, sail across the waters. Tell your sons and daughters what the struggle brings. Rise up even higher, so the wind can catch your wings. Let me carry lift your heart and send it soaring. Write your timeless message across the sky, so that all of us can read it and remember when we need it, that a dream conceived in truth can never die. And the world has come to see just how proud and beautiful you are. Black butterfly, sailing across the waters. Tell your strength and your conquerors what the struggle brings. So the angels with the tongue can catch your wings.
Now she could sing, y'all. Man, she could sing. I wish she was still singing. I don't even know if she's still around or not. Do y'all know if Denise Williams is still around? Is she still performing or is she no longer with us? I don't know. But yeah, she definitely was a very good singer back in the day. Very unique voice that nobody else could mimic as well. Especially with the high notes that she hit. Here is Rufus featuring Shaka Khan. Do you love what you feel? Hit the like, people. Hit the like. Well, that was a nice little jazz little tune, old school for real, for real. I love Shaka Khan, man, what a voice. Now we're gonna listen to Marvin Gaye, All the Way Around, and I think that after that I'm gonna play YMCA to close out the live. I appreciate everybody that hit the like. I appreciate everybody that has subscribed to my channel. Thank y'all for everything that you do. I appreciate all the moderators. Thank y'all for moderating and helping the live be unique and giving me good comments. That helps the live out a lot tremendously. I appreciate you. Let's listen to Marvin Gaye, All the Way Around.
Let's get it on, but how you gonna act this time around? Before we take it off, down to the skin, let's get that understanding. Girl, you couldn't understand my philosophy. You did not understand. You just ran away from me. Oh, I missed you, baby. Ooh, I missed you, baby. I miss you. You're so bad, baby. Not much like oh, you won't let me control this moment. I still feel your intent. Oh, now I see you coming straight to the point. You say the more you get paid, how the more you want. Yeah, darling. But I wasted my time when you see me, baby. It's so hard to find. Although you do it all the time, baby. Have your face. I still got to accept you, baby. Angel of the disguise. I don't mind, cause you're still the greatest one.
I must say, I don't remember this song. I don't remember that song, but I like it. I like anything by Marvin Gaye because he had a silky smooth voice that just was awesome. Now, Sweet Thing by Shaka Khan, another selection for her. let's get to this. If you guys have not yet, please like and share the video and subscribe. Thank you.
I will love you anyway, even if you cannot stay. I think you are the one for me. Here is where you ought to be. I just want to satisfy. Though you're not mine, I can't deny. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now, I will crazy. Oh, sweet thing. Oh, you know you're everything. Oh, sweet thing. Oh, you know you're everything. Yes. I wish you were my lover, but you act so undercover. To love you down my whole life long, be it right or be it wrong. I'm only what you make me, baby. Don't walk away, don't be so ashamed. Don't want your mind, don't want your money. These words I say, they may sound funny, but oh, sweet thing. Oh, you know everything. Oh, sweet thing. Oh, you know everything. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are my fire. You make me weak with strong desire. To love each other my whole life long. Be it right or be it wrong. I just want to satisfy you, though you're not mine, I can't deny you. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Let me know. You're not mine, can't deny you. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Let me know. I'm crazy. All the time. You're not mine, can't deny you. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Let me know. I'm crazy. All the time. You're not mine, can't deny it. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Let me know. I'm crazy. All the time. You're not mine, can't deny it.
Well, I definitely love that song. Definitely love that song. Now,
Pixel 9 Pro. Does it sound?
come on. What is that all about? Anyways, before I play YMCA, I want y'all to see Trump's little dance to YMCA. He kept playing this song. Trump's little dance to YMCA. Let's look at him dance for a minute. There's actually people trying to practice Trump's little dance all across YouTube. It's funny. Anyways, let's play YMCA on my way out. Please hit the like if you enjoyed anything, including the music, something. You guys keep coming back for something. I don't know what it is. You guys are here with me, might as well.
There's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can't stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your mental joy. You can hang out all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, are you listening to me? I said, young man, what do you wanna be? I said, young man, you can make million dreams, but you got to know this one thing. No man does it all by himself. I said, young man, put your pride on the shelf and just go there to the YMCA. I'm sure they can help you today. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your mental joy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, I was once in your shoes. I said I was down and out with the blues. I felt young man, getting out of a lot. I felt the whole world was so tired. That's when someone came up to me and said, young man, take a walk up the street. It's our place there. Call the YMCA. They can stop you on your way. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your mental joy. You can hang out with all the boys. YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Young man, there's no need to feel down. Young man, pick yourself off the ground.